Hey, so we've got Jessica Lowery of the Power of Elderberries on with us today, and Jessica's going to give us some great information about how we can use supplementation of elderberries and why that's important and how that's actually going to help us as chiropractic patients to get more even out of our adjustments. We're all about your body functioning the best. And we know that the adjustments can help that because if our spine is not under stress, then our immune system is going to work better, which is super important always, but especially during, this time of year when it's stressful, the weather's changing, we're getting into that cold and flu season. But I also am a big fan of good supplementation because I think that there's just not enough nutrients in our diets today. And if we can have really good whole food supplements to help boost our immune system, reduce inflammation in our body, then our body's going to work better. And so one thing that I have found is that elderberry juice is really helpful in that process. And I think the best company that I found to utilize is the Power of Elderberries. And I've got a little bottle right here. I just actually downed the last couple of tablespoons a few minutes ago. And so I'll be opening up a new bottle tomorrow. And so Jessica is the owner and founder of this company. And I really appreciate you joining us today. So thank you and welcome.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I just love sharing my passion for elderberry syrup. In fact, it's almost 10 years ago that I actually came in contact with learning about elderberries and the use that they have as a natural remedy. In February of 2013, I found myself with flu symptoms, and I was pregnant at the time, looking for a natural alternative, wanting something safe for myself and the baby. And that's when I first came in contact with PubMed journals that support the use of elderberry. And that was when I was first introduced to elderberry. And what I've learned over the years is elderberries are often turned to during cold and flu season, particularly because they inhibit the penetration of the influenza, the flu virus, into the host cell. And
Wow.
that's why a lot of people take it on a regular basis, almost kind of like as a preventative, because
Yeah.
it shields that host cell from the virus being able to penetrate. So when you're taking it daily for, immune support, it's doing a little bit more, especially during that cold and flu season, to help support our immune system and kind of shield us from those viruses that often stir up during that season. Another
Nice.
way that you can turn to it as well is if you're symptomatic and looking for a natural remedy. And in that case, that's kind of where I was introduced to it. Started taking it every couple hours and had such a relief in my symptoms naturally that I felt good about taking. And of course, no side effects to have to deal with as well. And so, from my own experience, I had fever, chills, body aches. And after a couple doses, I was able to feel a difference in how I felt. So, what I was looking for was not available in stores at the time. I wanted something that was clean in ingredients, as well as something that I felt comfortable and good about giving to my children. And at that time, what was important to me is something that was free of added sugars, dyes, added flavoring. Elderberry concentrate is a code word for more sugar, if you didn't know that. So you want to steer clear of things that have concentrates added to them. And, oftentimes products at the store shelves are full of preservatives and fillers and thickeners and all these things that really our body doesn't need. Of course, chiropractic care and clean supplements are just important to keep our immune system strong. But when you have all this extra stuff in the supplements that you're taking, it kind of defeats the purpose of investing money into a good supplement that can do its job, because sugar causes inflammation in the body. So if we're taking supplements that are full of sugars or gummies that are full of sugars, it's kind of defeating the purpose of what the elderberry can actually do. Elderberries have what are called anthocyanins in them. They have very unique properties about them. They have what are called rutin, which is a very strong anti-inflammatory. They're very high in antioxidants, and they're one of the top antiviral herbs on our entire planet. What's fascinating is Hippocrates, the ancient Greek father of medicine, actually referred to elderberries as his medicine chest over 2,000 years ago. So
Wow.
whenever like symptoms would strike, they would always turn to making teas and tinctures and using elderberry in different ways. And if you think about how incredible elderberries are, we then added even more incredible premium herbs and ingredients to our elderberry syrup. So you're not getting just the elderberry, it's got fresh cut organic ginger root, whole cinnamon sticks, whole cloves, and it's only sweetened using local South Carolina raw honey that's never been heat treated or processed in any way. So not only does the honey, make it more palatable to where children love the taste of it, but it's
Adults.
also helping a lot of our customers with allergy symptoms.
Mhm.
So I'm sure you have people that come in that are, congested or sinus drainage or taking like over the counter medication like Zyrtec and Claritin, really wanting something more natural, but really nothing has been effective for them, right? And that's where a lot of people that start taking our elderberry syrup products for the immune support are finding additional benefit with that daily dose of not only keeping their immune system strong, but also helping with allergies as well as keeping inflammation low, because every ingredient is anti-inflammatory, which is also then supporting their adjustment with you, that's also reducing inflammation in the body. And I'm sure, as you know, if inflammation is low, then disease can't thrive. Like that's what it's looking. That's what causes all of this. All ailments that we have is inflammation in the body.
That's awesome. And you mentioned a couple of things I just want our viewers to know. You talked about PubMed journals, and if you're not in our world, that may not mean anything to you. But when she says that, what she's saying is like the most prestigious, journals out there that have real deal, peer-reviewed, very scholarly papers about these different subjects in the healthcare world. They get logged in this on this site, this PubMed site that she's mentioning. And so what she's saying is this is not just anecdotal evidence saying that this stuff works. I mean, this is like researched in a lab, scientists, the whole thing, and they're doing this research on these elderberries and saying, hey, this is what it's doing. It's actually helping protect cells from penetration of the flu virus. And that's a big deal. And then all the other stuff that you've added to this syrup is amazing. And you not only have the syrup, you have the gummies too, which is great. All the, same stuff in there. And all of those other supplements that she mentioned there, those other ingredients, they help your body as well. Not only did they just help us with your immune system, and they're actually going to help your brain. I mean, cinnamon is a great supplement to take for our neural health as well. And so the things that Jessica's put in here, they are the real deal. Okay. And they're the things that we need for our body's overall health and wellness, not only just protecting us from getting stuff, but really to help us fight off, issues if we have them. And my goodness, we live in, I live in the upstate of South Carolina. So we're kind of up in the upper northwest corner, one of the most beautiful parts of the world, in my opinion. But because of that, in the springtime, my goodness, the allergens around here are awful. Like I read something a couple of years ago that said that the northwest, corner of South Carolina, and then kind of like this, circumference of, western North Carolina, upper east corner of Georgia is the worst area in the whole planet, for allergens in the spring and in the fall. And so having a supplement like this in your chest is huge, okay? Because again, having what she's got in there to keep that inflammation down, again, it's not only going to help you during this time of the season, it's going to help you all year round as we have all these beautiful plants and trees that are blooming, but that wear you out. Because why in the world would you want to take, like she said, these medicines off the shelf that have all these other terrible side effects, when you could take something that's going to benefit you and give you symptomatic relief, right? So that's the beauty of what she's produced here. And so great job on this. I'm so thankful that we discovered this product, this summer down at our convention. And I'm very thankful for what you're doing with it. And again, I would say too, she mentioned kids love the taste. They do. My boys, and they want it every morning. My daughter, she's like 15, and she's like, I'm just trying to corral her to give her a hug as she gets out the door. But my younger two, they're always asking for it, and they love it. And I love it too. Again, it's great tasting for adults, so it's not something like you have to, try to get your kids to take because they really do like it.
Yeah, and I'll tell them more about the bites as well. But to piggyback off the allergies, what I want your viewers to know is if you struggle with allergies, take it as if you would if you're symptomatic. So every few hours, up to 5 times a day. So you might be more aggressive with it on the onset, but after a few days, after a couple doses, you're going to be feeling a difference and you're able to taper down those doses to where most of our customers get down to 1 dose a day. And many of them take it before they go to bed. So I kind of want to share that little pro tip with the before bed.
Yeah.
What it does is all those anti-inflammatory properties open up the sinuses, right? You're able to breathe better at night. You're getting better sleep. And what they're reporting is they're not waking up with the sinus gunk in the back of their throat when they wake up in the morning, which a lot of people experience. They're blowing their nose. They can feel it all as soon as they wake up in the morning. So a lot of people, by switching that morning dose to at night, or that maybe they need it morning and night for a few days or, a week or whatever, they can taper down. And then just kind of use it as needed. But in high seasonal allergy seasons, you want to take it every few hours. We can have a whole segment on allergy season about it. But I did want to mention the bites as well. So essentially, we have turned our signature elderberry syrup liquid that Dr. Gabe's talked about, and we turn that into a chewable version that we call our elderberry syrup bites. Now, the reason why we don't call these gummies is because they're not chewy, they don't get stuck in your teeth. And the reason being is because there is no sugar in them or beef gelatin. And yes, I said beef gelatin. That's often what they put in gummies. And that's what gives it the bouncing effect in your mouth, okay? Paired with fillers, thickeners, dyes, concentrates, added flavoring, all the other extra stuff, and a ton of sugar. So typically it's sugar, more sugar through corn syrup, rice syrup, tapioca syrup. Sometimes you'll see on a bottle, it's all code word for sugar. Elderberry concentrate, code word for more sugar. So you're paying for sugar in a little bit of elderberry in those elderberry gummies on the market. In fact, a local health food store, they carry a national brand of elderberry gummies. They're marketed as Immune Extra Strength Elderberry Gummies. And I was intrigued to know how many milligrams of elderberry actually go into the gummies. And after turning the bottle around, they actually didn't break down elderberry, everything but the elderberry. So I got my calculator out and it ended up being 7.5 milligrams of elderberry per 1 gummy, okay? So you get 120 for $40. Sounds like a great deal. The serving size was you needed to take 4. And I did the math. You'd have to purchase 40.75 bottles at $40 a bottle, so over $1,600, to the potency level that 1 bottle of a 40 count of our bites has to offer, just to match the potency level alone. So 1 bite is equivalent to 238 milligrams of elderberry, okay, compared to the 7.5. So you can see the big difference, right? So this is what they look like too. They're not your typical, gummies. They're like little traveling pods of elderberry syrup is what I like to, refer to them as. And they're not chewy. They don't get stuck in your teeth. And it's because there's no sugar in them. And they just kind of break apart in your mouth. And I'd like to share with people that I meet that they kind of resemble like a firm cranberry sauce like texture, where they just kind of break apart in your mouth and then they're gone. So they definitely.
And they're good. I tried them at the beach.
Yes, you can take them traveling, holiday travel coming up. I like to throw them in my car, pop one to my kids on the way to school if we forget to take the liquid on hectic, crazy mornings trying to get out the house. I also like to keep them in my purse, and I turn to them for my on-the-go natural remedy. So, for example, if I'm out running errands and I start getting a headache, right? Rather than popping ibuprofen, I pop 2 bites in my mouth.
Okay.
So I like to use them as like my go-to. And when you mentioned the word chest earlier, it just made me think like this product is really our medicine chest at home. Like we use it for anything. So like stomach aches, congestion, if your kids are stuffy at night, or if they're running a fever, rather than turning to Tylenol, just give them the elderberry every 3 hours, just as if they're symptomatic, chills, body aches. We've used it for, essentially anything that might pop up that we would typically turn to something else. We've tried this and we've used it for 10 years in our own home, and just found it to be so effective and something natural, and something that you don't have to worry about calling poison control if your children get too much. It's so refreshing, especially as parents, knowing that you're giving them something that is clean, that they don't have to kick and scream for you to like get in them because it tastes good, and something that's effective. So all of those components are very important. And I guess I will add to kind of what separates us from other competitors, because let's be honest, there's a ton of elderberry out there in the market, a ton. And some key things to keep in mind when choosing elderberry is the product third-party lab tested? So supplements do not have to undergo third-party lab testing. It's completely up to them to invest in the money to get it done. And what that does is it guarantees that exact shelf life of the product. Otherwise, it is a complete guessing game of any in-house testing that's done, which obviously isn't accurate compared to a lab testing a product every single day before bacteria growth starts, right? So we take pride in getting all of our products third-party lab tested. We know the purity, the potency, the freshness, and the exact shelf life. We also are in an FDA registered and inspected commercial facility manufacturing this product. So we have a director of operations, a kitchen staff that I've shared my formulation with to undergo manufacturing the products. And it's important to note that it's FDA registered and inspected, because a lot of supplements don't register themselves because they don't want to go through the daunting reporting that comes with the inspections to follow, right? So that's really, really important too. We also don't thermal or heat process our products. So if you didn't know, if honey gets above 90 degrees, it kills all the benefits that it has to offer. So you can't reap the raw honey benefits if the honey is heat treated or what's called thermal processing. So some other elderberry companies out there that might use honey, they might thermal process, which kind of defeats the purpose of using that raw honey, because you're not reaping the benefits of it. And that's kind of the difference between a refrigerate after opening versus a refrigerate upon arrival type of product. So ours is refrigerate upon arrival because we don't thermal process the bottles, keeping that honey temperature regulated, so our customers reap the benefits. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you as well. I think those are important points to note, and really what helps separate us. Another thing too is you don't have to shake the bottles. There's no sediment collection. We use all whole ingredients. There's no ground spices or herbs. So it creates a really palatable, very smooth tasting liquid going down, versus the powder. Sometimes it can kind of get caught in your throat where it might come across spicy to children. So as you know, with your kids, it's just very smooth tasting, and that's why.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing that I keep thinking about when you're talking there is that you're taking a supplement that's whole food supplement. So it's food, right? It's food that is good for you. So like you said, we're not having to worry about side effects, which is amazing, because there's no chemicals that are added to this. And so your body's not having to fight to try to extract the few little good nuggets out of this supplement, and then figure out how to process all the other junk that's in there, like a lot of stuff that you buy off the shelf, because everything that you've got in there is helpful and it's good and it's whole, and it can be used and utilized by your body without your body having to freak out about, how do I process all the junk? Okay. Right. And so I love that. And yeah, my goodness. I mean, and just to the lengths that y'all have gone to ensure your product's quality and its purity and its effectiveness. I mean, it's a big deal, and again, that's why I like to find people like you and companies like yours that I can make a good recommendation to my patients that this is something that you're going to take. It's going to be helpful for you, and it's not going to harm you. Like that's what we want to be about, right? I mean, I think you mentioned Hippocrates, and I think he was the dude that said, like, above all else, first do no harm, and that's what we're all about in our office for sure. And and then also, I mean, it's one of those things where I would just hate to have to give somebody a caveat. You should take this, but watch out for X, Y, and Z. Like, and I don't feel like I have to do that, with this supplement. So I'm thankful for it and for all the benefits that it can offer to our patients. So
Yes, well, thank you. And it really, the passion behind this, being a mother of three, myself, is I always tell people, like, we take this every day. Like, our family takes this every day. So what I want for my own family is like what I also want to share with others.
yeah,
And that's why I feel as though our quality standards, consumer safety, and just our integrity as a whole of a business is so strong and will never be shaken. Because it's like this was created because what I was looking for was not available for me to go out and get.
yeah,
And I think that's just where the passion is, with sharing a product that's clean and wholesome, and consumer safety is at the forefront of our business practices. And not everyone does that, unfortunately.
yeah.
And my eyes really were opened with all the research that has been poured into bringing this product to market, on especially the supplement world, and what a lot of consumers don't know. And you don't know what you don't know unless someone's educating you or you're reading up to learn different.
That's right.
So I'm just happy to share it with other people and to help educate. One thing I didn't share with your followers and viewers and patients and everyone watching is I was a former lecturer in the public health department at Coastal Carolina University for 12 years. So my passion is education. My passion is in holistic wellness. And so to be able to, share this product with others is, it's just very meaningful for me. And to share it with your patients as well, to hopefully, improve their life as a result as well.
That's right. And that's what we're trying to do, is just give people options to help them be as healthy as possible. And, just like if I was a chiropractor, but I never got adjusted, I mean, that would be kind of ludicrous, right? And for you to, if you were just in this for the money, but you were like, oh, I'm not going to give my kids this stuff. I'm just making it to make $1. Well, of course, there's no integrity in that, and that's not you, right? That's not your company. And so certainly I appreciate that, and know that, again, like you said, you created this out of a need that you saw, and there certainly was that. And so so we're grateful for that. So anything else that we have failed to cover tonight that you can think of that you'd like to add before we go?
I don't think so. I mean, there's always so much to talk about. So anytime you want to jump on and do another video, I'm so open to it. I love, just educating and talking about the company, the product, the product as a whole, and also just natural wellness in general. So
Yeah,
thank you for having me. And I just want to share with your patients, like, obviously you have the products in your practice, so they can pick them up there. We have small bottle, large bottle. We have an 8-count pouch of our elderberry syrup bites. These are great for weekend travel, or if you want to try them before you graduate to the larger bottle. This is an 8-count. And then we also have the 40-count bites bottle. And then also, if you want to drop in the video comments after we share this, your referral link that they can click on. If they would prefer to just order online, you might have people out of the area that just want it directly shipped to them. We ship all fresh made bottles, just refrigerated upon arrival. And I know, Dr. Gabe will give you some great recommendations. Our most popular is our essentials bundle. It's like a large elderberry syrup liquid with a 40-count bite. And that's just so you can have a bottle in your refrigerator. And one thing we didn't talk about is like the panic attack that you might have when you don't have it, right? It's important to have it in the refrigerator there, so that if your child or yourself, end up not feeling well, or you have a sore throat, that the key here is to take it aggressively at the onset of symptoms. If you're going to use it as that natural remedy. So having it on hand is always nice. And then having that 40-count bite bottle, if you want to take it on the go, or even the pouch is beneficial as well. So they can learn more about our products online. They can, hop on your referral link and learn more there. And feel free to reach out and ask any questions.
that sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for joining us tonight. And We appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate how you're trying to help us get healthier. And that's what we're about in our practice too. And that's why we like to partner with people like you, with companies like yours. So again, thanks for joining us. And we appreciate everyone who has watched and listened this evening or this morning, whatever time of day that you're watching this. And just remember, thepowerofelderberries.com. Certainly, like she said, we'll get up our referral link there so you can get your product online. Or if you're in the upstate of South Carolina, in Spartanburg particularly, you can stop by our office and get these great products. Thanks again, and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.